Most business owners are trapped in a cycle. They only make money when they're actively working with clients. Miss a day, lose money. Take a vacation, lose money. But digital products are the income stream that work for you even while you sleep. Take Thomas Frank. He created a single Notion template for content creators, and it's made him over $2.5 million in the background, completely on automation. And if you think this only works for big name creators, you're wrong. I've seen wedding planners sell $29 workbooks, calligraphy teachers charge $100 for recorded workshops, and web designers make hundreds of thousands selling specific templates. All they did was package up their expertise into these products that can scale all on their own. So in this start to finish masterclass, I'm going to show you exactly how to find the perfect digital product idea that matches your expertise, how to create it using AI tools in just hours instead of weeks, and how to set up a professional online store that converts browsers into buyers even if you've never built a website before. So why are digital products the best business opportunity that you're not taking advantage of yet? First, the profit potential is incredible. There's almost no barrier to entry. You don't need inventory sitting in a warehouse. You don't need to handle shipping, and your upfront costs are basically zero. Now compare that to opening a physical store or even expanding your service business. Those require serious cash. And since we're talking digital products here, every single sale is pretty much pure profit. You know, if you sell a $100 digital guide, maybe $3 goes to payment processing, and the other $97 is yours to keep. Second, you can serve customers globally. So if you run a service business, you might be limited by geography, right? You can only work with clients within driving distance. But digital products let you help someone in Australia just as easily as someone down the street. But the biggest advantage is scalability. It takes you the same amount of effort to sell your product to one person or 10,000 people. You know, Thomas Frank doesn't work 2,500 times harder because he's made 2.5 million. He just created something once that thousands of people find valuable. Now, there are tons of different digital product types that you could create, but let me show you the ones that are actually selling really well right now with real examples and real numbers to get your creativity going. So first of all, templates. They're probably the hottest sellers right now because they give people a starting point, not just information. Thomas Frank's Creator's Companion, that Notion template that I mentioned before, sells for $149. And it's basically a pre-built system for content creators to manage their workflow. He doesn't just tell them how to organize their content, he gives them the actual template just to plug their stuff into. And that's just one example of a template. You know, visual-based templates work great too. So the Brand Method sells Squarespace website templates specifically for salons, and they charge $499 for a complete package. It's the same idea. Rather than building a site for them, they just give them everything they need to do it for themselves at a fraction of the price. Another great digital product type is a workbook. So these are great if you have a process that you can guide people through from start to finish. For example, a launch planning workbook might walk a new entrepreneur step by step through defining their product, setting timelines, and mapping out a marketing strategy. Wildly Collective sells a wedding planning workbook for $29, and that just guides couples through every decision that they need to make. Next, we have swipe files. So these are collections of proven examples that people can just copy and use themselves. So this works great because people love seeing what works in action, so they can just confidently, copy it for their own stuff. It could be proven sales scripts that actually convert, expert designed aquarium setups that people can copy. Or like Creator Hooks does, they sell a swipe file of 103 YouTube title A/B tests for just $7. They're just putting together everything that they know already works, and people love that because instead of guessing what might work, they just get to see real examples with proven results. Okay, next, video workshops are like mini courses, but way easier to create. So instead of planning and recording a whole course with 20 different videos, you record one focused workshop that teaches one specific thing. You could show someone how to use AI to make YouTube thumbnails, or how to meal prep for their family for the week, or even how to train a puppy. Massimo Calligraphy sells a workshop for around $100 where he just shows his own technique. Now, the length of a workshop video can vary, but I'd say they're usually about an hour, maybe two. Much faster to create than a full course, but people still pay good money for that focused expertise. And then we have your guides and ebooks, right? The classic digital product. Whatever your expertise is, you can probably turn it into some kind of a guide, but here's the trick. It has to be actionable and pretty narrowly focused. You could create a tax savings guide specifically for Airbnb hosts, or the ultimate guide to caring for parrots. Disney Food Blog is known for selling guides to, you guessed it, Disney food. So this one guide in particular sells for $19.95. It's just a simple guide about how to maximize the Disney dining plan so you can get the most for your money. And it works because it solves a specific problem to get people to a specific outcome. But here's what most people get wrong when choosing their product type. They overthink it. You don't need to invent something completely new or become the world's #1 expert in something. You just need to help people with problems that you already know how to solve. So start with what you already know, right? What do you currently charge money for in your business? What do people ask you for advice about all the time? What problems do you solve in your day job? If you're a personal trainer, you probably know how to help people work out at home with no equipment. That's a digital product right there. If you're a wedding photographer, you've probably figured out the perfect shot list for getting all the important moments. Again, that's a product. Don't have a business yet? No problem. What do you love? What are you passionate about? If you're obsessed with video games, you could make strategy guides for the most popular games out there. If you live and breathe football, you could create position-specific playbooks for high school coaches. So here's where it gets even easier. So I made a custom ChatGPT that's gonna help you brainstorm product ideas. Just grab the link for it in the description below and just tell it your area of expertise or what you do for work, and it's gonna give you a bunch of really specific product ideas. Then it's probably gonna ask you some follow-up questions just to really help you narrow down your best option. Then once you've decided on your product idea, just go back to that custom ChatGPT and tell it you want help planning all the content. Again, it's probably gonna ask you some more follow-up questions just to really understand exactly what your customer needs, and it'll get some of your expertise. Then it's gonna go to work to help you build out a complete content outline. So let's see what this could look like. Let's say you're a landscape architect specializing in urban rooftop patios, and you wanna create a guide called The Ultimate Urban Rooftop Oasis Blueprint. You'd include your expert secrets for transforming a rooftop patio on a DIY budget, inspiration images, your preferred product list, and a complete action plan so they can tackle the project in a week. Now, you don't need to waste time getting something like that professionally designed. Just open up a Google Doc, add all your content, images, and your lists. You want it to look clean, but you don't need some fancy Canva template for it to be effective. They're paying you for the info, not for the design. The only thing I do recommend designing is a nice looking cover for it, and thanks to AI, you can get that done in under a minute. I use Ideogram for this because it just does way better with text than any of the other image generators out there. And it happens to make really nice looking covers. So just tell it the name of your product and any style preferences you have, colors, if you want it simple and modern or line art, photo based, whatever you want to tell it. Then you just ask it to make a cover for it. Just make sure you choose portrait mode, 3 to 4 dimensions, and then let it run. Look at all these. They look completely professional and honestly way better than you'd get from an affordable graphic designer. Trust me, I've been there. And if you don't love what it gives you the first time, just run it again, maybe edit your prompt to get closer to what you wanted. Then just pop it onto the first page of your Google Doc and download the whole thing as a PDF. That's it. Now you've got a professional looking digital product that you created in just a few hours. Now, you've got your product, but if you try to sell it on the wrong platform, you're gonna lose money on every sale. A lot of people default to platforms like Etsy or Gumroad because they seem easy, but here's the problem. Gumroad takes about 5% of every sale plus those payment processing fees. So if your product's $100, you're immediately down to about $92 in the end. That might not sound like much, but when you're trying to build a business, every dollar matters, right? Plus, platforms like Gumroad or Etsy don't really belong to you, right? They control the experience. They can change the fees whenever they want. There's also a lot of built-in competition on those platforms, and your customer will just associate the product with their platform, not your brand. That is why I recommend setting up your own professional storefront, and the easiest way that I've found to do that is with Hostinger's AI website builder. You can get a really professional looking store up and running in just a few minutes, even if you've never built a site before. So let me show you exactly how this works. So the first thing you need to do is go to wesmcdowell.com/hosting. That's gonna bring you to this landing page where you can see you're getting 78% off hosting. So that's pretty pretty good. You also get a free domain. That's like your .com address, and they have great support too. So let's go ahead and check out what we've got here. So to do what we're gonna do today, you actually do need the business plan. It's only it's less than $1 more a month, and it gets you all these extra features like the WordPress AI tools, and the CDN is gonna make your website really fast. So not only is this a great deal, they have all the features you're ever going to need, and we can do it all using AI. So let's just go ahead and we're gonna click on Choose Plan. And they do let you choose how long you want this for. I do recommend keeping it 48 months because that way you're gonna get locked into this price for 4 years instead of it going back up to $14 a month. So kind of a smart hack just to get the good price for as long as you possibly can. So, and if for some reason you didn't use my link to get here and you still want to get the extra money off, just make sure you apply coupon code WES and you will get that. Just click on continue. Then you just need to register, put in your payment details and pay, and then you're going to choose the AI website builder option. And now we get a chance to tell the AI a little bit about your digital product. So it's gonna have a really good head start in creating some of the content for your site. So I'll just type in the name of our example product. And then in the description, you wanna get as detailed as you can. You only have 700 characters to do it. So just tell it everything you can about your product within those limits. The more you tell it, the better job it's gonna do on the first try. So I'm just gonna type in something like this, and then we'll click on Create a Website. Now it's gonna get to work and it's gonna be putting all those AI pieces together. Just takes a couple minutes and it gives us a really great starting point. Okay, so this is what it gave us to start with. We've got this cool video background, just kind of a basic title and some content here. It's done a pretty good job of giving us a solid baseline to work with, but now it's up to us to really finesse it and make it everything it needs to be able to properly sell your digital product. So these are the bones. Now we need to give it some more shape. The first thing you can do is choose a color palette. So, just click through these to see which one you like. Maybe this one with the green works pretty well for a rooftop garden guide. So once you got that, just go ahead and click on Continue. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is tackle this top section. We call it the hero section, and it has to really do a good job of showing the results that your product is going to get your customers. So the first thing we might want to do here, just so we can not be distracted by this video background, let's go ahead and change the background for now. So we're going to click on Edit Section, and then on Background, so right now it's set to video. You could click on Replace Video, and you can find all of these free stock videos. Let's just see if there's anything here. Maybe that one's okay. There's a few options here. But what I'm gonna do instead, I'm just gonna go over to Image, and I'm going to bring in my own image that I'm gonna make using AI. Because a lot of times less is more. A video can be kind of distracting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to midjourney.com. So this is a great place to get any kind of images you ever need for any of your marketing, especially for your website. All you have to do is tell it what you want. So I'm just gonna type in something just like that, and then we'll let it run and see what it gives us. So I just ran this a few times and look at all these great options. Like, these are beautiful photos. They don't look like AI made them. They look very natural. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna pick this one. So I'm just gonna grab that and click on download. So then going back over to our website builder, I'm gonna click on replace image. And then I'm just gonna drag that image that we just made right onto the screen here. Click on select, and there we go. And I think that looks pretty dang good. And before we start changing the actual content, like the words, let's go ahead and look at a few other options we have here. So in terms of fonts and all that good stuff. So if we go over to our side panel, we can click right here where it says website styles. So you'll see right away, we have all the colors that were imported from that color swatch that we chose earlier. We've got fonts here. So these are all basically Google font combinations that they've come up with. And I think a lot of them look really nice. They're kind of expertly curated for you because, let's face it, you're probably not a designer. And this is just a really simple way to get, fonts that look good together. So let's see what this one will look like. And you can see that changed the fonts all the way through the site. Or all the way through the page rather. So it kind of takes care of all of it at once. Okay, so once you're happy with your fonts, let's go ahead and X out of these. And now we need to start actually putting in the content that's going to sell your product. Because the AI can only do so much. Like, it gave us a good kind of head start a little bit, but I think we can probably do better in coming up with our content. So We're going to go back over to ChatGPT, but specifically this one custom GPT called Exceptional Copywriting Ultimate Sales Letter. So I'm going to leave the link to this also in the description below. So here, all you really need to do is ask it, write me a sales letter for the digital product I'm attaching here. So you do want to attach your product. You're just going to click on the little plus sign, and you're going to add photos and files, and you'll just choose it. Give it the name, and then also tell it no emojis, please, because it tends to go really crazy with them. So we probably don't want that. So I'm just going to click on submit here. Okay, so then it gave us all of this really great stuff. Like this top up here can easily be our hero section content. And then we get onto the rest of the content here. So it goes into every little detail, what people are going to get, what they're going to be able to do with it, peek inside the chapters. This is really good stuff. It even gives some dummy testimonials. You definitely want to use your own. You don't want to go with those, but it's a really good place to start from. So let's go ahead and just go bit by bit. And you definitely want to use your own judgment here to kind of take what you think you need from this. For instance, I'm probably going to leave this, and I'm just going to use this as our headline, and then this as our subheadline. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And then to edit text, we're just going to click on it, edit text, and we're just going to highlight the whole thing, and I'm going to paste it in just like so. Now, unfortunately, that did make the text black, so I'm going to highlight all of that. I'm going to go to text color. I'm going to choose white, and I'm probably going to do a couple things as well. Like the font size is really big, so I'm going to see what it might look like a bit smaller. So let's just kind of play around with it. Maybe on 2 lines is good. Maybe if it were bold. So I think that looks pretty good. And now for the subheadline here, we're just going to copy that, click here, edit text, and then we're just going to replace what we've got here with our new text. And now we have to style that up as well. So we're just going to choose white. Let's bold that too. Let's see what that looks like. And maybe bump up the size a bit. Okay, now for our button. So we're just going to click on that. We're going to click on edit button, and we want it to say something better than start. So I'll type in, get the complete guide for $47. And we'll worry about where it links to in a bit, but for now we're just going to keep going. And you'll notice how it kind of cuts off here. So all we need to do is just drag this little bar right here to where it looks good, like that's way too big. So you just want to get like a nice sweet spot here where it's got a little bit of room around it. And I think that looks pretty nice. Okay, so let's move on to our next section. So we've got kind of a sad looking patio situation here. And I think that can work in our favor actually, because this could be a great little problem section where we lay out the problem that the guide solves. So let's go back to our sales letter we got on ChatGPT, and I'm going to grab this part. I'm probably going to get rid of the, hey there, fellow city dweller. I'm just going to start here. I think this could be a great headline. So I'm going to edit this headline to our new one. And of course that text is way too big. So I'm just going to, let's see what it looks like. Maybe there, that's a little too small. Maybe, I think that looks nice. Okay, perfect. And then here's an example of text and elements that we probably don't need. So it's really easy to get rid of stuff. I'm just gonna right click on delete, or you can just normal click and then click the trash can. I'm just gonna do that for all of these. And then we could use this as our text block, but actually I'm gonna delete it too so I can show you how to add things in as you need them. So I'm gonna click on delete. And then if we go up here to add element, this little plus sign, we can click on text. And then it gives us this text block here. We can just drag into place. We can make it, maybe it'll go over to here. And then of course we'd want to make it a lot smaller than that. So, and right now it is set as a headline, right? Heading 3. We actually want to set that just to probably paragraph 1. That just means it's paragraph text. It's not a headline like this or this. It's just paragraph text. So now we're ready to grab the rest of this. I'm going to copy it. And then we're just going to paste it right in here. And maybe this image is a little too ramshackle for us. Like maybe people couldn't really see themselves in this situation. So let's go ahead and grab something from Midjourney that's a little bit more in line, just so that I can show you how to change images like that. So I just typed in bare bones rooftop patio with one dirty old table and chairs, a dead plant or two, and no other decor. And let's see what it gives us. Okay, these are pretty good options. So I just might choose this one. I'll download it, and then all I have to do is click right on the image, edit image, replace, and then I'll just drag the new one right over into place here, and then select. It's just that easy. And there's a few other things we can do here. If we click on style, we can make the corner radius bigger, it's more rounded. Action, that refers to what will happen when someone clicks on it. So we don't generally want anything to happen. Like, there's no reason for people to click on this and have it open full screen. Shape is interesting though. You could make it a circle or any of these shapes you want. Maybe we'll do something like this. That's kind of interesting. Now I am going to show you how to actually add our product here in just a second, but first let's just add the rest of the content to our page in one simple section. So first of all, you can see we have quite a bit of dead space here. So what we can do is just click right here on section height, and we can just drag it up. What we don't want to do is get it like super close. That looks bad. It's like the mark of bad design. What we're looking for is something more like this. Gives it a little bit of white space, enough to breathe, but it's not wasting too much space. So then we have all these other sections. I don't know that we need any of these specifically. So what I'm going to do is we're going to delete anything we don't need. So I'm just going to right click on the section, and then we're just going to click on delete here. And we're going to do the same thing for the rest of these sections until we're left with just the footer. Okay, so now let's click on add section. And there's all these different templates, right? We have about, where we have all these different layouts that we can use, services, product categories, contact form, we have all these different things, but this section is going to be very simple. So I'm just going to click on add blank section. And all I'm going to do is click on add element. I'll click on text, and I'll probably drag this to maybe about here, and then to about here. And then we probably want to bring it, about to here or so. And this will be our next headline. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. So I'm just going to get the rest of our text. I'm just going to copy all of it, and I'll copy, and then I'm going to paste. So we have all of it here in one section. And now it's just your job to go ahead and format it however you'd like. For instance, I feel like some of these headlines might be a little too big. They're set as heading 3. I might see what heading 5 looks like. Maybe heading 4. We just want to go for a size that feels a little bit more appropriate. I think that looks good. So then I would just go ahead and take all these headlines and change them to heading 4. But again, it's going to be whatever it looks like for you and whatever you feel is needed here. So I'm just going to quickly do the rest of these. And you could add another section and maybe do testimonials or something like that. Like maybe this one looks pretty nice. And then you can change the background by clicking edit section. And then maybe I would just choose another different looking patio style to put here. Maybe this one. Just download it. So then click on replace image, and I would drag it over and then select. Cool. And then of course you would just change the text here. You can change the images. We already know how to do that. You just click on edit image, and you put the right person's photo there, and you would change their name. All stuff we know how to do at this point. So going up back through and looking at this, maybe we want to make this section background a different color just to break it up a little bit. So I'll click on edit section and show you how to do that. We can click on color, and then under section color, right now it's set to white. We'll just choose that. So here we've got all of our website colors. I'm just going to choose something very neutral, like this gray, and then I'm going to make it even more subtle. So I'm just going to drag this down to maybe about here. So it's just different enough from the white to kind of stand out. And then if you ever want to get a good preview of what it looks like, you can just click on preview. And this is basically what it's going to look like. It looks really clean, really nice. And it's only taken us, about 10 minutes so far to make this. So now we're just going to go back to editor. And we will get to changing the logo in a bit, but first we're going to add our product. So we're going to go over to the sidebar where it says Add Store. We're going to click that and then choose Add Store. And then we're going to click up on Manage Products. So the first thing we'll start with is just getting rid of all these dummy products that you're probably not going to be selling. So we just click right here to select all and then delete. And then one more time. So now that that's cleaned up, we're just going to click on Add Product. And we're going to choose Digital Product, of course. So now you've got two options here. You can just upload the image, then AI will generate your product details for you, or you can upload your image by itself and then do all this yourself. So let's just see what AI is going to give us. We can always change it. So I'll click right here. So this is where we're going to choose that cover image that we got from Ideogram. So we're just going to upload that. Okay, so it's taken it from the title and it's done a pretty good job. It's missing a few letters, but we could easily add that if we want to. You can change the subtitle. So ribbon, that's going to look like this. So we can say new arrival, or maybe, bestseller, something like that. And then we have the description that was written by AI. Either you can go with it as is, or if you want to make any changes to it, it's super easy to do. And then we're going to go down to the price. So unless you're giving it away for free, you want to choose amount, and then you're just going to enter in the price here, maybe $47. And then if you want to have discounts, you can kind of go through that. We're not going to ask it to track quantity because it's a digital product, so you don't really have any inventory, right? You can sell it as many times as you want. And then here you're going to upload your actual guide. So I'm just going to drag it here. I downloaded that PDF. You probably don't want yours to say untitled, but download link available for, I would definitely bring that up to 30 days. You don't want people sending you emails if they wait for more than 2 days and it's no longer there for them. So just scrolling down, we are going to uncheck show related products, because if you just have one, you don't really need that. It's just gonna needlessly clutter your site. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna click on save, and then it's prompting us with our next step. So let's just click that. So you definitely need to set up a payment method. So we'll click on add payments. This is where you're gonna want to connect your PayPal and preferably also your Stripe account. So you would need to go ahead and set up a Stripe account separate from this, and then click on connect. That's how people are actually going to be able to pay for your product. If you skip this step, they won't be able to do it. Okay, but we're just gonna X out of here, and then we're actually gonna go back to our homepage. So click on home right up here, because we need to add this product now to your actual homepage. And I'm actually going to put it right under this section right here. So I'm gonna click on add section, and then we're gonna go to where it says online store, and we're going to choose single product. Okay, so it's got our title, subtitle, price, the button to buy, and then the description. So it's everything we need. My one gripe here is this is set to be a square image, so we've got this weird kind of border. So I'm just gonna go to edit section, then layout, and then where it says image ratio, I'm gonna choose portrait. So that's gonna make it look a little nicer. And then none of these other things we have to worry about, but maybe we want our button to match the button color up here. So to change that, let's just go over to where it says button, and then fill color, we're gonna choose this, and we're gonna choose our same green color. And then on button text, we're just gonna make it say the same thing. Get the complete guide for $47. All right, looking good. So this button's automatically gonna go to the product, but what about this button right here? So we need to click on that, edit, and we're gonna choose page. And then we're going to choose, this bottom one should be our guide. So let's just go ahead and preview this. So if we click on the button, it does take us to our guide, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna click on back to editor. And I did promise I was gonna show you how to change the logo, so that's really easy to do too. The first thing is you have to actually have a logo, right? So ideally, it would be the logo for your actual product, not for your business. And ChatGPT is actually really good at making logos for you. So we're just gonna make sure we have 4O selected here. And I'm just gonna type in, make a simple logo for, and then fill in the name of your product. And then I'm just gonna say black text on a transparent background. That can be whatever you want it to be style-wise. I just think this is gonna look best for this. And then this is the important part. Make horizontal for a website header. You don't want a logo that's stacked, because again, look at where it's going. It's going up here. It can't be taller than wide. It needs to be wider than it is tall. So let's go ahead and have that run. Oh, we gotta choose on tools, create an image. I'm gonna let that run. And then here's what we got. I think it looks pretty good. So we would just right click on save image as, name it logo or whatever you wanna name it, and then click on save. So from there, we just click on the logo file and then image. And by the way, you could just do a text too. You could just type in the name of it. This one happens to be a little long to fit well here. So that's why we're gonna use an image. Replace image, and I'll drag it on over and then select. Okay, so it put it in there, but it's pretty small, right? So the way we work around that is for logo width here, it's just a nice slider. You can make it huge. Let's kind of give it some good spacing about like that. I think that looks nice. And there's really only one more thing to do here, and that is we've got all these other pages that we really don't need. So the way we get rid of them is we're just gonna go up to, over the sidebar, pages and navigation, and I'm just gonna get rid of these things that we don't need, like gardening, just delete. Lighting, I'm gonna do the same thing. Probably don't even need the store one, because blueprint is the actual product page. I'm gonna delete that. And in this case, since it's just pretty much a one-page site, we probably don't even need the homepage. So I'm just gonna delete that too, or hide from navigation rather, not delete it. So now it's time to actually click on Go Live, and now your site is ready to sell. And since Hostinger does come with a free domain, you can change your domain and you can choose whatever you want that's actually available. Urban Oasis Blueprint, and that one is available, so then you'd click on Next and you'd connect it to your site. And look at that, we've got a completely professional online store that's ready to accept payments. You own the domain, you control the experience, and you keep more of your money. So again, to take 70% off of hosting, be sure to use the link wesmcdowell.com/hosting. That's gonna give you the best possible deal here so you can get your storefront up and running in well under an hour. Or just click right here to go there right now. Again, wesmcdowell.com/hosting, or click here to get set up with my favorite hosting and the best AI builder that I've come across yet. Can't wait to see what you're gonna create with it.